Hello everyone, this is Sunita Sahu, student of MSc first year second sem. My topic is speciation and its role in evolution. The first question arises, what is species? Before defining species, I would like to take two examples. The first example is that two lions can interbreed to produce a fertile offspring, and their offspring can further reproduce to produce another fertile offspring. The second example is that a lion can breed with a tiger to produce the offspring known as liger, but in this case the offspring liger is not fertile. So from the above examples we can understand that two organisms, if they can interbreed and produce fertile offspring, then they can be considered as the same species. But if two organisms cannot interbreed, or if they breed they cannot produce a fertile offspring, then they are considered as different species. This was seen in case of lion and tiger. Now, individuals within a species can look very different from each other, but till the time they can successfully interbreed and produce fertile offspring, they are considered as a single species. The next question is, what is speciation? In simple words, speciation is an evolutionary process in which a single original species can split to produce two or more new species. The most common example of speciation is the Galapagos finches. The original population that inhabited in the mainland of South America had seed-eating features. But as the evolution continued, many other forms with altered beak arrows, enabling them to be insectivorous and vegetarian finches. Now, these new forms were completely isolated from each other, so they were not able to breed. After several generations, as they were unable to interbreed and produce fertile offspring, they were considered as the different species. So in this example, the original population was the seed-eating finches, which later on divided to produce new species that were insectivorous and vegetarian finches. Classically, speciation has been viewed as three-stage process. First, isolation of population. Second, divergence in traits of separated population. And third, maintain reproductive isolation even after coming in contact again. We can say speciation has occurred only if the newly formed species is not able to reproduce with the original population. This is known as reproductive isolation. Reproductive isolation is an isolating mechanism that prevents members of two species from interbreeding and producing viable fertile offspring. Reproductive isolation can be seen at three levels: pre-mating, post-mating but pre-zygotic, and post-zygotic. Pre-mating isolation is seen before two individuals mate. Pre-mating isolation can be achieved when the individuals of different species do not meet, or they meet but do not mate, or they mate but male can't transfer the gamete to the female. Pre-mating isolation can be further divided into ecological isolation, temporal isolation, behavioral isolation, and mechanical isolation. Ecological or habitat isolation is seen when species occupy different habitats. For example, two species of the garter snakes in the genus Thamnophis occur in the same geographic areas, but one lives mainly in water while the other is primarily terrestrial. So they can't meet. Second one is temporal isolation, where species breed at different times. For example, in North America, the geographic ranges of the eastern spotted skunk and the western spotted skunk overlap, but the eastern spotted skunk mates in late winter and the western spotted skunk mates in late summer. The third type of pre-mating isolation is behavioral isolation. Here, the species engage in different mating and courtship rituals. For example, the blue-footed boobies, inhabitants of Galapagos, mate only after the male displays his bright blue feet to attract female. This is unique to their species. The fourth and the last type of pre-mating isolation is mechanical isolation. Here, the mating pairs may not be able to couple successfully if their sex organs are not compatible. Reproductive organs incompatibility keeps the species reproductively isolated. For example, the shape of a male reproductive organ varies among male damselfly species and is only compatible with the female of that species. Reproductive isolation can also be achieved by post-mating and pre-zygotic isolating mechanisms. In these mechanisms, organisms of different species may by chance mate, but this mechanism does not allow the formation of zygote. Post-mating pre-zygotic isolating mechanisms are further divided into gametic isolation and biochemical isolation. In gametic isolation, sperm of one species may not be able to fertilize eggs in the reproductive tract of females of another species. And in biochemical isolation, sperm of one species may not be able to survive in the reproductive tracts of females of other species, as some mechanism may prevent the sperm from penetrating the membrane surrounding the other species' eggs. Now, the third type of reproductive isolation is post-zygotic isolating mechanisms, in which by chance the individuals of different species mate and their gametes fused, but this mechanism does not allow the survival of the zygote. This can be achieved by hybrid inviability or hybrid sterility. Hybrid inviability means development of the zygote proceeds normally, but the hybrid does not survive. Example, some salamander of the subspecies of genus Insatina live in the same habitats where they may occasionally hybridize. But most of the hybrids do not complete development, and those that do are weak. Then hybrid sterility. The hybrid is healthy but sterile and it cannot reproduce. Example, the mule, the hybrid offspring of a donkey and a horse. Based upon how the population separated, speciation is of four types: allopatric, sympatric, parapatric and peripatric. Now let's understand the type of speciation with example. On the topmost left corner of the slide, the green circle represents a group of frogs living together. Due to geographical isolation such as river marked as blue, the population got separated. Each separated population evolves separately. After a time period, if they are allowed to mate, they would not, as they have maintained reproductive isolation and they are now considered as two different species. The new species is marked as yellow. So, the type of speciation that occurs due to geographical barriers such as mountain range or river is called allopatric speciation. Second type of speciation is sympatric speciation. On the bottom right corner of slide, the green circle represents the original population of frog. Now, in a small population of frog developed a random change due to mutation or other genetic events. This leads to altered preferences and behavior. The new population that is marked as yellow evolves within the same area, leading to generation of separate species which can no longer interbreed with the parent species. This type of speciation, wherein the two species evolve together without any geographical isolation, is called sympatric speciation. The third type of speciation is parapatric speciation. When the surrounding area or niche of the population changes due to factors like pollution, it leads to the generation of two niches, one original niche and the new polluted niche. The species with polluted niche undergo random genetic differences to adjust to the new niche. The frogs in the clean and the polluted area become two different species over a period of time. This can be understood by the figure on the top right corner of the slide. So parapatric speciation is slightly different from sympatric speciation because the evolution of new species is seen in separate niche in parapatric speciation, but in sympatric speciation it occurs together. Fourth type of speciation is peripatric speciation. Peripatric speciation is similar to allopatric speciation. As the name denotes, peri means periphery. That means the geographical isolation occurs at the periphery of a population, isolating a small number of individuals. This small population evolves independently from parent population. Over a period of time, two species are formed that cannot mate. We discussed speciation mostly on the basis of geographical barriers, but there are other factors such as the natural selection, genetic drift, hybridization, migration, etc., on the basis of which speciation may be studied. Now let's understand the last point, that is the significance or the role of speciation in evolution. Speciation occurs due to the changes. Changes are a part of evolution. To adapt to these changes, the population developed genetic changes. These genetic changes accumulated within the group for several generations. And finally, a new species evolved that was completely different from the old population. Hence, evolution is the change in the heritable character of a population over successive generations. It is the process of continuous branching and diversification of organisms starting from a common ancestor, whereas speciation is the formation of a new distinct species during the process of evolution. That's all. Thank you.